All right. So some people were confused in my last session. So I'm going to make a few lectures explaining all the concepts that we went over. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining the anatomy of a candlestick. So by the end of this video, you should be able to look at each individual candlestick and tell me the four numbers that it consists of, right? So any chart that's related to trading that you look at, or any chart in general, they're going to have a y-axis and an x-axis. So in the context of trading, this y-axis is price and this x-axis is time, right? So as you scroll left and you look at all the individual candlesticks, it's just showing a record of what price is doing at each time, right? So it's just a record of what price is doing throughout time. Now, why we use candlesticks instead of like something simpler is because it gives us a lot more data. It's the most efficient way to summarize price action in a given set like amount of time. So another version of a graph that you would probably see like like day to day is a line graph. Now, when we look at the line graph, you see this number up here. Wherever I hover, that's telling me where like what price is at, like what number in this line graph price is at. So if I'm up here at this high is 29,511. If I'm up here at this high, it's 29,647. Now I'm going to go back to the candles. You see now there's four numbers up here. So I hover over this one, has four separate numbers. The O meaning open, H meaning the high of the candle, L meaning the low of the candle, and C meaning the close, right? So this indicator right here, I'm going to get into time frames in a little bit, but it has these four numbers as well. This is a daily candle. So it's summarizing the price action throughout the whole day. So we have the high, which is this number, the open, the close, which is this number. It's still closing because the day hasn't ended. The open, because it's a bullish candle, which is this number, and the low. So now I have two example candles right here that I'm going to annotate for you. So the anatomy of a candle, right? The four numbers. So for the bearish example, so the downward candle and the bullish example, they have just slightly different anatomies. So for the bearish example, it means that you opened higher and closed lower, right? For the bullish example, it means it opens lower and closes higher, basically saying that price went up during this time. Or, opening higher, closing lower means that price went down during that time. Now the wicks, these are just the extremes that price hit during that day. So for example, this big green candle right here is summarizing all the price action that happened throughout this whole Thursday. So we have the low of the Thursday right here. Price opened right here on Thursday. See the open right here. Price is still actively closing. So this closing is going to move up and down. And this was the high that we hit today. So those are the four components. So now that you're familiar with those four numbers and also the two components of the candlestick, which are going to be the body of the candle, this thicker portion, and the wicks, which kind of show the damage, right, on the outer ends. So people are a little bit confused about like details on the wicks. So a wick just means price traded at that level and did not close there. So the high was reached, but it wasn't held. That's like the entire content of a wick. Okay, now that we know how candlesticks are made, I'm going to explain time frames as simply as possible. So a time frame is a compression window, right? So if we're on the 5-minute time frame, these are a bunch of different time frames up here. You can make your own. It can be any time. It's fractal, so you can have 0.1 second time frame, right? As I was saying, it's a compression window. So a daily time frame is going to compress each candle into a day. Each candle is going to compress that day of price action. Or an hourly candle is going to compress that whole hour into 1 hour of price action. Or what the fuck? Hold on. All right, I'm fried. Hourly candle, right? It's like oh my god. Okay, yeah. Hourly candle compresses 1 hour of price action. and you read that 1 hour using those four numbers. Pretty simple. I'm like, oh my gosh, shut up. So throughout the time frames, it's the same data. Nothing changes. It's just a different story. Shows a different perspective. So on the hourly, it summarizes everything pretty neatly. Like it's not that many candles throughout the day because there's only so many hours in a trading session, so only so many hours in a day. But then if you go to the 1 minute, it spreads that whole day across every minute of the day. Every minute is showing what happened. Or onto the 3 minute, remember the same data. So it's the same highs, same lows, everything is the same, just a different perspective. 5 minute, now every 5 minutes is being summarized. 15 minute, now every 15 minutes is being summarized. 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, so on. So oftentimes a move that looks enormous on the 1 minute can be like 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 a tiny ass candle on a higher time frame. It's just all about perspective. So now when you're observing a candle on a higher time frame, like a daily candle for instance, it can only tell you so much, right? Even though it's efficiently communicating what happened in that day, you're going to have to drop a time frame to see what truly happened, right? This 4 hour, we can't really tell when the high was hit, when the low was hit. Then you go on the 15 minute, now you got exact times. We made the low on Thursday at 2 a.m. We made the high on Thursday at 4:45, right? Okay. All right. So next, I just want to say this for me, for my mentors, right? For my students, a clean chart is low key a requirement. We barely use any indicators, rarely will. If we do use an indicator, it's for a concept that we already know how to observe on the charts. Like every indicator is going to be something standing between you and price. You're going to spend this whole course learning how to read price. So adding a tool that summarizes it for you kind of defeats the point when you're going to be able to, you know, analyze it fully in all its glory. All right, so now I'm going to try and speed this up. I'm going to go over a couple of examples. So here's a bullish candle example. I'm going to be doing this guy right here. Let me turn that opacity down. This candle in this box, we're going to determine the four numbers. So if we hover over it, you can see these four numbers right here. It tells you it. So the open is at 272. Also, I'm only going to be reading the last three numbers just to make it faster. Open is at 272, high is at 892, low is at 197, close is at 836. Now, without using these four numbers, how you identify those? Again, bullish candle, right? So bullish candle opens at the bottom, closes at the top, right? So we open, made this low, made this high, then close. Simple as that. It's pretty easy. Now I'm gonna find a bearish example. All right, this big guy right here. So bearish candles are the opposite. They open high, close low. So open, high, low, close. Right? Then we can read the four numbers up here. Or what really to exercise like knowing if you can read it properly or not, use the y-axis. So up here, let's align our cursor with the open of this candle, which is at 045, like right there. I mean, this says it more precise. On the daily time frame, there's kind of some error, but for the most part, it's at 045. And then yeah, you get it.